Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Southern Dirt. My name is Summer and today I'll be taking you on a jungle tour. That's right, that is exactly what the garden looks like, is a jungle right now. Our family went away for a month this summer and visited a lot of national parks out west, and this garden has been unattended for about 5 weeks. So I figured I would show you what the garden looks like without me digging in and pulling weeds, so you can kind of see what survived and what everything looks like. If you are interested in following our journey of our out west RV tour, I will put the link to the Instagram account in the description below. Let's jump into the jungle tour. I can't even believe that I'm going to be showing you guys what the garden looks like right now. It's probably going to be the most embarrassing video I ever put together on my channel. But I really thought it'd be helpful to show you what actually survived for an entire month without any supervision, except for an automatic watering system. That's it. I did have a neighbor come over just to make sure my watering timers were working, and she did pick some food so it didn't go to waste. So I'm gonna start over here in the jungle. Like literally my husband said, this looks like Beauty and the Beast garden. It just looked like somebody abandoned this home. We have so much work to do. But I'm gonna go ahead and start with this bed. We do have some basil here that a friend gave me. It is all got these beautiful flowers, and it's bringing in a ton of pollinators. When we got home, I've never seen so many bees and butterflies in this garden, and I'll show you what has helped with pollinators in our garden, this being one of them. I have some longevity spinach. Look at this, how well this did. These are so easy to start from cuttings. These actually came from a cutting a friend gave me. I do have a purple variety and a green. I think this is the purple. I cooked it for the first time before we left because it was the only thing that was fresh left in the garden, and it's actually not that bad. There are some recipes online that you can look at to cook this. Here's our snacking peppers. It's still flowering, definitely needs some nutrients and some TLC, which was not able to be given, but they haven't died. I am going to go through this entire garden and spray with neem and BT, and the kids and I are going to get together, and if I can do a hyperlapse video, I'll show you what we're going to do. Is mainly going to pull all the large weeds, and then we're going to go with a torch and torch all the other ones, because it's just, y'all can see there's just too many weeds to handle. So of course Roundup would take care of this whole garden, but we don't like to use any chemicals. We do everything naturally and organically. So this will definitely be a chore, but I'm going to show you guys what we're going to do. And if you have any tips for me to get rid of these weeds, put it in the comments below. I also have a kale plant that is surviving actually a whole lot better than the ones in the full sun. This gets a little bit of shade in the afternoon. So we also have a eggplant that looks like we had some worms eating the leaves, because this got, like, we have leaves that are just completely gone and chewed up. It does look like I still have some flowers coming in, but I know that she did come over and harvest some eggplants. Over here, surprisingly, this tomato is doing great. It's growing tons of more tomatoes, and it's flowering even in this heat. A friend gave me a cutting of this tomato, and I wish I knew the variety. Originally she told me it was a black tomato, but they're not black, so I'm gonna have to ask her so I can let you guys know, because this did really well through the heat of summer. I have a foxglove here. It's probably the one that's doing better in the garden right now. I think this is a foxglove that just grows leaves the first year, dies back, and then grows a flower the following season, because we planted these forever ago and we still have no flowers setting. We also have some cranberry hibiscus that is like taller than me. that is doing good. And this was started from a cutting from some other plants that I have in our backyard that we have by our chicken coop. But that was something that did really well. So here's our Madagascar beans. You can see we have some leaf damage and some yellowing going on. As you guys, if you've been following me for a while, I have this electrical box back behind here, and that is why I kind of want something trellising that area so it can cover it. I just didn't want it to get this wild. Though it's a perennial, which it should freeze back and then set flowers next year for these beautiful beans. I can't wait to show you guys them. And I plan on saving those and planting them more throughout our property. I have some zinnias that randomly popped up. It was just a volunteer seed from the year before, and I just let it be. And it's just going nuts over here. This garden tower I trimmed back. If you guys go back to the video I posted before I left, I mean, this was just super short flowers. It's kind of taken over the top. A lot of things are alive in here. Our collard green kind of shriveled up. We still got some mint, some basil, our peppers. I've never had weeds grow through my tower, but I do have a little bit of weeds through here, just not that bad. I can just easily pull them. My mint is growing throughout this tower. I do have some peppers, some rosemary. Surprisingly, the lavender survived and it's still got flowers on it. My tomato didn't make it. It kind of was sick before I left anyway. We got some snacking peppers. These definitely need to be trimmed all back, and I need to fertilize. And if you are wondering what kind of liquid fertilizer I use an organic fertilizer called Neptune Harvest, and I'll put that affiliate link in the description below and show you how I apply it. I also put a little video together. I'll put that in the link below, or the description below as well, so you can kind of see how I use it in the garden. Over here I have a bunch of big fat weeds that are going to seed. And we're gonna just come through and pull all those. This is one zinnia seed, just one, and is taken over my bed. I do have can't really see it, but I have an eggplant in here that is not doing good at all. Looks like I've got some leaf damage, and these plants have kind of taken over, so it's shading out this eggplant. So I had two moneymaker plants right here. As you can see, this is absolutely normal in the summer, but if I would have picked them at a proper time, obviously we wouldn't be looking at this kind of breakage and whatnot. So really here in the next couple of days, I'm gonna just start pulling some of the rough fruit and see if I can save them. I don't know. I think I might just restart fresh with all of this. My succulent stand did pretty good. It looks like I got a flower out of this guy here. Some of them aren't looking too hot up here, but that's okay. This gets quite a bit of sun during the day. Succulents don't need a whole lot of sun, nor do they like a lot of sun. But these guys are doing okay. Now this over here, I've got some Cuban oregano and Puerto Rican oregano that is just going crazy. These are in pots, which you can't see right now. But this is actually my first garden I ever started with. And my ancient rosemary, still the first plant and only plant I have yet to kill for this amount of time. I have plenty of oregano. I'm just gonna trim it back and feed it to our chickens. We have plenty of this in our backyard where we have our chickens. It's just a really healthy thing to feed our chickens, keep them healthy. Over here is my GreenStalk garden tower with peppers. And I'm surprised how well this GreenStalk did without any attention. Now I do have a little drip system here that's just basically pouring. I think it's like I have this on a 3-gallon that waters every day. ton of peppers, and they are really looking healthy for not being tended to. Basil here, that's doing great. Some oregano. Oh, I forgot about this. This is I forgot what this was. I'll put it in the screen here. But I'm really surprised this did as well as it did, being unattended. My roses are looking pretty rough. I'm just gonna cut all those back. My strawberry tower was struggling before we left. I did not have this on level good, so when we left the first time in the early part of the summer, it was tilted and water was only going to the back and not the front. So we're just gonna replant this in the fall, kind of keep that going. Over here are Seminole pumpkins that are going all the way around the edge. My neighbor that came over, she's like, I'm trying to keep your pumpkins from not taking over your whole garden. So I was thankful she kind of just came over and tucked these in so they wouldn't go crazy. But unfortunately, they're lacking some nutrients and we got some worm issues. I do have a few little pumpkins if I can find them. I got tons of flowers going on. There's a pumpkin right there. There's one. I think I will just wrap these back around here and see what they do. I do have a whole nother pumpkin patch in the front yard. I'll show you in a little bit. I don't even know if it's going to survive, but we'll see what happens there. Got some zinnias that are alive. These are all different types of tomatoes and they're all toast. And I got my one kale plant. I didn't really have much over in this garden before we left. And I have my ancient collard green here. This was from a couple years ago and it's just kind of grown into a tree. I transplanted it into the shade. So it's still producing. I have some more longevity spinach here. I actually do not have irrigation to this one. And I'm surprised how well it's doing. My neighbor that kind of checks on the garden said that we only got 3 inches of rain while we were gone, which is not a whole lot, which typically we'd have a lot more. But he's doing fine. And my blueberries, they're doing okay. I got some flowers on them. These blueberries we get 2 times a year at harvest. And they line our whole garden area. Over here is my daughter's garden. And she was excited to see that they've literally grown taller than her. And unfortunately, a lot of them are just kind of laying over and just kind of are beyond their day. But she's excited about planting another flower garden this fall. And if you haven't seen her video, she did a little garden tour. She's really excited. She's been begging me to do her own little garden tour. And that was really cute to see her. She calls herself Little Southern Dirt. So most likely I'll give you an update of what she's planting and extending this area and what she'll be growing this fall. This, as you can see, this is a luffa. I planted these, I don't know when I planted them, but they were just super tiny plants. I don't even think I showed you guys them because they were so small I forgot to talk about them. But I had 2 on each end here and they've taken off to a point where, look. And if you guys want seeds, I have seeds for sale on the website. I like to grow these and dry them out and make my own loofah soaps. You can also harvest them young like this and eat them like you would a zucchini or a squash. But they are amazing pollinators, absolutely amazing. You see these? I mean, there's just tons of flowers on them, just everywhere. So these are great for pollinators. And look, it's going up in my tree. I've got to pull this down and wrap it back around. But it was fun to see just in 30 days for these to completely climb and grow massive loofahs like this. And I left this as a sunflower stalk here, and I left it because I thought that they would grow up it and kind of act as a trellis, and it actually, it worked. It did exactly that. But look, this is so fun. Got tons of loofahs just hanging off of it. Now, my last video, I told you guys that most likely I will lose all my kale, and I was right to a certain degree. As you can see, they've kind of just shriveled up, just burnt up. These get 8 to 10 hours of sun a day. So kale in the heat in Florida doesn't typically survive when it's just blasted. If you're gonna grow kale, try to have it in a not so super sunny area if you're growing in the summer. These I planted last fall. I have some collard greens here that are doing the same, that just shriveled up. Plus looks like I had some animals that came in and messed up my irrigation lines a little bit. But the good news is fall is just around the corner. I'll be planting a lot of seeds come September. I may be starting some in August. And if you're wondering what to plant right now, I have a month-to-month series on what you can plant each month for our zone. And that was a huge game changer for me. I learned along with you guys and tested out a lot of things. So I think that was a very successful series for a lot of people and myself. So if you want to look at that, I also have a fall planting guide, which goes over a lot of the foods that you can grow that will last throughout the season. Over here is my other Seminole pumpkin patch. I decided to grow pumpkins in the back because I knew we'd gone for a while, and I thought because of the shady tree, maybe they would do okay here. And as you can see, we've got some worms or some caterpillars or something just chewing them up. They did grow over my blueberries, and I had them growing in the yard over here. So I just kind of tucked them back in here and threw them on top of each other. I thought about pulling them, but I don't know. I think I'm just gonna douse these really good with the BT and neem and see what they do. See if I can rescue them and see if they'll produce. I sell Seminole pumpkin seeds on my website, so if I don't have any production this year, seeds will not be on the website for very long. So yeah, we'll see what I decide to do here. See if I can't rescue them. Again, an animal got into our wheelbarrow. Our girls had a little fairy garden set up with succulents and everything. It's just absolutely beautiful, but looks like something knocked it over. Over here I had a butterfly garden, and it's just taken over by weeds. There's some flowers peeking out over here, but it looks like it's mostly weeds. And before I left, I kind of stacked a lot of my succulents over here in hopes to kind of stay in the shade and not get so blasted by the sun. It's an absolute mess, but these are ones that go around my house and whatnot. Over here is a lot of my daughter's plants that she has in her garden, and we just put them here because I had a automatic water sprayer here that sprayed all this. It's just, of course, full of weeds, and we got all kinds of fun stuff in here that you really can't see, but we'll get it out here soon and put it back in her garden. And here I had some curly kale, onions. Some of it's still for surviving. But even though this looks absolutely horrible, I'm really excited to plant for fall. So I'm gonna start daydreaming and planning, and if you guys are in the dog days of summer like I am and your garden looks like this, it's okay. It's the time to take a break and start fresh in the next couple months and start prepping your soil. I do have some videos on how to prep your soil, and I plan on showing you in the next video what I'm doing different this year to prep my soil. And so look for that, and I'll show you my pumpkin patch in the front. So if you guys go back to previous years and sharing my Seminole pumpkin patch with you, by this time they're just really full and putting off a lot of flowers, and they are putting off a lot of flowers, but as you can see, we have some major worm damage. And if you ever start to see your plants looking like this, it is time to start spraying them and treating them. Let's see what these do and see if I can't rescue these guys. So stay tuned for those.